What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news as Face vs. Face's phenomenal AJ Styles battles Bobby Lashley for the US Championship. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Vince costing WWE millions, Vince scared WWE superstars, a former WWE star teases a return, Trish Stratus returning to WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Now, as always, we don't provide a recap, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, you wouldn't hit a lady, would you? Last night's brawl between Rey Mysterio and the Judgment Day was another tidy tidbit of foreshadowing. The segment where Rey Mysterio took out the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest only to find himself thwarted by Rhea Ripley continued the theme of male babyfaces refusing to strike female heels, regardless of how deserving they are. This dilemma has set the stage superbly for what likely will be the return of Edge's wife Beth Phoenix, as she shows she has no qualms with laying out the nightmare. Also, it was a nice callback for Rhea Ripley to do the spot where Rey Mysterio landed on the blooper reels, trying to do chin-ups in the locker room. Number 2, the prize fighter is back. Rumors that Kevin Owens is getting a push are true, as KO interrupted Drew McIntyre mocking the Scottish Warrior and telling the WWE Champions that he's coming after all of them. Owens boasted that the prize fighter is back, and this was clear when he accepted Drew McIntyre's challenge, battling in a match that could have gone either way until the Usos ran in and attacked Drew. If Owens' push continues at this level, he could have championship gold around his waist very soon. Number 3, Drew dominates. Drew may have had his hands full with Kevin Owens, but the current number 1 contender for the Undisputed Championship still looks strong, not only taking KO to the limit, but successfully fighting off 2 separate attacks by the Usos. The WWE has done a great job building McIntyre up as a serious opponent for Roman Reigns. Number 4, Riddle returns. Riddle is back and he was all business, promising revenge on Seth Rollins and surprising the Visionary by appearing in person rather than from home, as Rollins expected. The two brawled with Seth running for his life after Riddle stopped him from a curb stomping him on the announce table. Riddle's subsequent challenge for a match at Clash at the Castle was a perfect way to tease their next showdown. Number 5, WWE pulls off face vs. face title matches. Kudos to the WWE for pulling off a competitive face vs. face match between US champion Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles without resorting to cheap tricks such as one of the wrestlers turning heel and employing heel tactics. This was presented as 2 fierce competitors being all business in the ring but foregoing any shortcuts to win the match. The result was a highly enjoyable encounter between the 2 of the WWE's best that helped elevate Lashley further. Number 6, Ezekiel's family picture was too funny. Although the Triple H era hasn't featured many funny segments, last night's segment where Ezekiel's family gathered around the fallen wrestler in the hospital was hilarious, especially when Zeke's dad, Ernie Jr., promised to give Kevin Owens a piece of his mind. Eagle-eyed fans could see Elias, complete with guitar, but like Elrod assembled to show their support. Number 7, Miz and Ciampa team is interesting. The Miz and Ciampa are one of wrestling's classic odd couple teams that shows 2 mismatched wrestling styles working very well. Fans familiar with the Miz's arrogance know that it's only a matter of time before the team splits, but the WWE seems to be dropping hints that Ciampa may surprise the Miz by turning on him first. Number 8, Lights, Cameras, Action. Another action-packed Raw made for quite the show as fans saw all sorts of brawls, including backstage fights and in-ring ruckuses and even attempted invasions. Rey Mysterio's furious attack on the Judgment Day was just the beginning, as the Red Brand delivered the goods with solid wrestling matches accompanied by thrilling battles everywhere in between. As Raw continues to draw enthusiastic accolades from fans, one thing is certain: fans are enjoying the increase in action on the Red Brand. While some critics may feel the WWE is overdoing it, so far the ratings suggest otherwise. Number 9, WWE finally develops a Ziggler Theory feud. As promising as the Ziggler vs Theory feud has been, the WWE has done very little to flesh it out. That changed last night with Dolph revealing how he sees much unrealized potential in Theory, and the cocky Theory dismissing Ziggler's accomplishments and career. The subsequent brawl and main event match were excellent, and fans have to wonder whether the two will meet in the ring again. And Loomis the lunatic. Dexter Loomis is a lunatic, but just in case fans didn't know it, the WWE continued showing Dexter's dark side as he not only invaded Raw for the 2nd week in a row, but apparently left evidence of his misdeeds, such as setting fire this week and crashing a car last week. The WWE has engaged fans by leaving these violent outbursts in the background. This way fans can piece things together for themselves without being hit over the head with intelligence insulting obviousness. But that was a good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Superplex Overload. While the superplex is no longer a finisher, it's still a strong move that draws a good pop, but that is unless you see wrestlers attempting to use it in 3 separate matches. One or more of the WWE's producers must love this move, but like any special move, less is more. Number 2, Dana Brooke stinks. A 24/7 champion Dana Brooke is finally getting some TV time, but why? Her promos are still rubbish while her matches are something you'd expect on AEW Dark. While Brooke's bodybuilding background gives her a different look than other female superstars, she's been in the WWE long enough that no one should expect her to improve so much that management could justify keeping her a spot when there are younger and more talented stars waiting on NXT. And number 3, Alexander Ali team just jobbers? Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali are 2 talented wrestlers, but in a promotion packed with talent, what can you do to stand out? In this case, the WWE apparently decided that the 2 would make an effective tag team, and judging by last night's performance against The Miz and Ciampa, it was a good idea. The problem was that the WWE booked them to lose in their first outing, leaving no room for doubt that Alexander and Ali's purpose is going to be to continue to be enhancement talent. There was nothing downright ugly on last night's Raw as the WWE kept fans on the edge of their seat and gasping for breath from start to finish. Is Crash TV back? Well, if so, it seems to be working as the WWE has found the right blend of high quality matches, brawls, surprises and promos to entertain the fans. What'd you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Vince's investigation costing WWE millions. Atop of the news today is a report from WWE suggesting the investigation into Mr. McMahon's hush money scandal could cost the WWE millions of dollars. The WWE released a statement with its Q2 earnings, which state that McMahon's investigation is nearly complete. As noted by the Hollywood Reporter, the investigation has already cost $1.7 million, and the WWE explained that further costs are expected. While we currently anticipate spending approximately $10 million during the remainder of the year related to this investigation, the related costs could exceed this estimate. The report mentioned that Mr. McMahon has reimbursed the WWE for the $1.7 million and has agreed to pay any other costs not covered by insurance. But despite the scandal, the WWE reported a 24% increase in its revenue from last year's Q2 earnings. Next up, WWE confirms Saudi Arabia show. The WWE also confirmed that it's returning to Saudi Arabia in the first week in November. There's no word on who will be on the show. However, given the Saudi sports authorities' desire to make their events a Wrestlemania caliber show, expect to see some major matches and appearances by any WWE legends that can still compete. Next up, Vince scared WWE superstars? A former WWE superstar Road Dogg is sharing some interesting information on the belief that Vince McMahon scared some of the superstars, as well as Mr. McMahon's reaction to this fear. During an episode of the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Road Dogg said he once told Vinnie Mac, "Everybody's scared to death of you, sir." McMahon supposedly replied, "Well, that's on them, because I've never done anything to scare anybody." That's an interesting take on the backstage dynamics in WWE, but what do you think of this story? Next up, a former WWE star teases a return. It looks like another former superstar is making it known he's open to a return to the company now that Triple H is running the show. Former NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush recently tweeted a video that he has some believing he wants back into the WWE. Wrestle Talk recently revealed on Twitter, Rush shared an intriguing video showcasing highlights from his pre-WWE career as well as his WWE run. The video ends shortly after showing a screenshot of the announcement of his WWE release, but not before Rush notes that this isn't the end. In a follow-up tweet, Rush shared a photo of himself and Lashley from when he was a manager for the Almighty. Rush is a talented performer, but he does have a history of getting backstage heat and seems to have trouble staying in any one promotion for too long. Do you think WWE should bring him back as Lashley's hype man? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Trish Stratus returning to WWE. Stratus, who last competed at 2019 SummerSlam against Charlotte Flair, tweeted that she'll be at this weekend's live events in Canada. Guess who's coming to WWE live events this weekend? Come see Kevin Owens, Dominic Mysterio and Alexa Bliss, and yours truly. Well, someone has to come and maintain control. Stratus is appearing on Saturday night's main event show in Kingston, Ontario, and the Sunday Stunner in London, Ontario. Bayley recently tweeted some Trish trash talk, replying to Stratus' tweet, "This should say Bayley to return to live events this weekend. Come see Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and I saved the show." And with the WWE returning to Saudi Arabia, could they be setting things up for a Bayley vs Trish match this November? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.